I just want to briefly touch base on the profits of this farm. We got really lucky with 3 raw divine drops, as well as a 7 years bad luck dropping force in just 25 maps for this first portion of the farm. Now I will say I am running 2 divination scarabs, so perhaps you could say I'm bound to see a good card at some point, but still, 2.4 div, take it or leave it if you want to count the 7 years, plus 3 raw div. I don't know if I'd count that. That seems pretty unlucky. Maybe one of them. Maybe. I think they say 1 div every 40 maps on average, right? 50 maps on average? I don't know. This league's a little bit different or interesting. We made all that against a 182 chaos investment. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we also made 32,000 vivid yellow life force. That's the 5.5 div Big Daddy life force. We made 3,800 wild or purple life force. That's for 52 chaos. That's the small PP weenie Hut Junior life force, the one that's the least valuable. And then we also made 7,800 primal or blue life force. That's the, I guess, the medium Goldilocks. Not really Goldilocks because it's actually bad. You'd prefer the yellow. Yellow's the best. Hopefully, as you're seeing with these clips, and it definitely as you will see with the non-crop rotation clips that we have to see, this strat was volatile. It just isn't very consistent with the juice it provides. Now, I will be fair to it and say that, especially if you don't have a lot of money to invest in, and definitely if you just want a relatively medium thought required, low investment strategy to run that involves harvest, this is a fine strat to run. I just noticed that a good chunk of your profits will come down to whether or not bumper proc synchronizes with Heart of the Grove hitting on a very important plot, such as a double gold plot that you've been upgrading 2 or 3 times throughout the entire grove, and then you hit Heart of the Grove on it. You know, you might have just made 4k life force off that decision alone. Alrighty, I wanted to give you guys a brief rundown of the atlas for the crop rotation variant of the strat. We, of course, pad through the yellow plants, reduced chance as we don't want to see yellow plants with crop rotation, and then we take crop rotation. Nice part about crop rotation is we get to save some points over here. We of course invest that all of the extra points that we have into increasing the map modifier effect on our maps. This is going to directly affect the pack size and quantity, which are 2 important mechanics to scale when you're running harvest, because that juice does affect monsters and harvest life force dropped. Likewise, we take the middle portion of the tree for a similar reason. These are all quant nodes, so of course we want more quant. Similar here, and this is really easy to take because you just path inward from the harvest nodes. Of course, getting harvest of the grove. The harvests in your map have a 10% chance for the unchosen crop to not wilt. Is, I dare say, very important for the purpose of crop rotation. The strategy revolves around, in an ideal scenario, finding plot with 2 yellow plants in it, and then ideally being able to click both of them at the end of your strat because of a proc from Heart of the Grove on the one that you click, not turning off the other one. So it's a very small percentage chance for this to happen, of course, but the ideal scenario for basically your most juiced crop rotation is as follows. You have a proc of bumper crop, yielding you an extra harvest, and then ideally you have as many procs of Heart of the Grove as RNGesus will allow you. I've gotten as many as 2 just running 25 maps, being able to in the same map pick 2 alternate harvests that were otherwise going to wilt just because I had Heart of the Grove enabled, or should I say spec'd. So definitely a powerful node, especially when it procs in that ideal scenario. So just having that idealized scenario in the first place is why I don't really like crop rotation, to be completely frank with you. There's a fair amount of variance in running crop rotation, in addition to the extra brain power required to maximize your returns. But some people like it. We're going to try it. It's actually, it can be pretty fun. I'm not going to lie, when it pops off and everything goes according to plan. To quote Light Yagami here, like when you have that win that hero scenario of bumper crop procking in a map, and then you get a few Heart of the Grove procs as you're buffing up your yellow plots, and you get that last juicy double yellow grove that has like 10 tier 3s and like 11 tier 3s on the other side, and you click the first and then you don't see the other one go away, and you're like, ooh man, this is going to be juicy. And it is. You usually get a crap ton of juice from that. So yeah, that's what we're running. I'm looking forward to seeing what the returns are going to be. So I have to say, this variation of the strategy was actually worse than crop rotation. I am amazed. I did not know what to expect using the harvest scarabs of Cornucopia. I haven't really farmed the yellow boss that much, I guess. I never want to ever again after using this strat. Basically, the main problem is when you farm the yellow boss enough times, you start to realize that the boss is incredibly bugged. Hopefully, I'm doing a good job of demonstrating that right now. He's just like immune to damage very frequently. And when I say very frequently, it's I don't know how else to explain it other than that. He just has moments in the fight where he, instead of using his like curl up into a effigy slash looking like he's on a pike Jesus crucified style move, when he gets his damage threshold where you can no longer deal damage to him, he's supposed to do that move like the other bosses do. He just, instead of doing that, he says, F that, I'm going to start attacking you still. I'm going to continue attacking you. I'm going to continue doing my flicker strike move to you. I'm going to occasionally throw delirium balls at you. I don't know, he just like spams. And it doesn't really make any sense. So even though, and I do have the currency to show for this, which I will show you now, this strategy definitely does make quite a lot more crystallized life force, as you can see here. Sure. Sorry, I should show you the profits. We've got 8 div worth there, 4 div worth there, 2.7 div worth there, and 3.1 div worth there. And keep in mind, this is with all of the other all of the other life force put away. I put it into, I've been trying to sell it in this swap tab, the yellow juice. And I think the rest of the juice I have stashed away in my exotic tab, yeah. So yeah, this is just what we made with the tier 4 bosses, ran on every single map as per what the Cornucopia scarab does. As I think I can show you, yeah, right here. If area contains the sacred grove, it will contain up to 1 additional tier 4 seed of each type if possible. That basically guarantees a harvest boss of each type every single map. You might see, wow, that sounds really good. You have so many chances at Sacred Blossoms. And it's true. I did actually find a fair number of Sacred Blossoms. I have 2 right here from continuing the strategy and adding them into my main stash tab, which is this, my frag tab. But if we go to my profits tab, we type in Sacred Blossom. As you can see here, we've got 3, 6. So yeah, you can get a lot more chances at Sacred Blossoms, a lot more chances at Sacred Crystallized Life Force, or the white juice, I guess. But mostly, it is a time waster, because holy crap, it takes so much more time to do these maps. I mean, look at this. This is 2x speed, by the way. 2x speed. He's not taking any damage. He keeps spamming the same 2 moves. His basic auto attack and the flicker strike. He has delirium, which is causing occasional balls of degen to be thrown at me, like that right there. He's just standing there. Then he's doing his flicker strike, then the degen ball. And then finally he does this. 2x speed. Takes like a minute. And then we get 1k life force. Worth it? Question mark. And then we had to come over here and farm another boss. I will say this is a really good strategy for just getting a crap ton of juice all around. You will get a lot of yellow juice if you focus on yellow juice, and I'll show you the very slight modifications we made to our atlas to guarantee way more yellow plants than most other plants than blue and purple plants. But the important thing is that you will just get a lot of juice in general from using the Harvest Scarabs of Cornucopia, because you'll get a boss guaranteed every single plot from each color, and that will just give you at least 1,000, usually between 1,000 to 2,000, especially if it duplicates. And look, this is yet another prime example of a reward that I have to question whether or not it was even worth it at the end of this fight. We're going to see that this guy gets bugged. He's standing in my sigil of power. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but I have a lot of damage reduction stacked up is my point. So like sigil of power stacked up and all my other sources of damage reduction, he's not really doing any damage to me, so I'm able to just sit here and test it. And he's like blinking in and out when he's about to use his flicker strike move. I don't know what's going on with that. Every time he does this, he's completely invulnerable. Every time he does anything, he's completely invulnerable until he decides randomly to do, and we'll see it, he's about to do it. When he starts glowing like this, he's got his little auto attack going. I don't know if he's about to do it because he's glowing or what, but he's glowing, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. Oh man, come on. Come on. Come on, Namharim. And then boom, he's going to do the flicker strike attack again. I completely jebaited you. It had nothing to do with the glowing of his back or anything like that. No, this guy's going to keep doing this crap to bore us even further. Just going to sit here and auto attack me? Yeah, he's glowing, but that does not matter whatsoever, as we just saw. And it's like, I don't know what to do. As you can see, right, clearly, I'm doing no damage. Let's be clear about that. I'm doing 0 damage. There's no joke about that. He's doing no damage to me, because of course not. But I'm doing no damage to him because he's invulnerable, and he's spamming the same 2 moves, which is auto attack and flicker strike. And I don't know. Apparently this boss has been bugged like this for 2 years. I mean, I love GGG, but this is questionable, in my opinion, as an oversight. Because I know they checked the Reddit, and that was where I saw the complaints. Look at this. He's still invincible. He still has yet to do his attack that makes him vulnerable. I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm like, I just gotta go away. I just gotta go away. I just gotta leave the premises. Leave the area completely. Get the heck out of there. Come back. He's gonna slow me. Here he's doing the move. You can't see him because he's not in range. But there he's doing the move that will make him vulnerable, hopefully. But no, he just goes back to flicker striking me. Like, what the heck? He wound up his, oh man, I will eventually progress the fight move. Okay, there he is, doing it again. It's bugged. Look, I mean, what he's doing is he's running around in a circle. And I think I eventually think to myself, do I just have to sit in the circle? Finally, he's continuing forward with this portion where he makes himself vulnerable. That's the most important thing that I care about. And then he also turns into like Jesus Christ. But as you can see, look, he drops the Sacred Blossoms, drops 1k life force. I have to sit here and wonder, was that blossom even worth it? You know. As you can see, this is just why these things take so long. It's because that guy is done, and now we move on to yet another boss that's going to have another phase. Now, thankfully, the blue guy is not nearly as bugged as the yellow guy is. I have had some instances with the blue guy giving us some beef. Let's see if this guy gives us some beef. We're getting a fair amount of life force, to be fair. Doing this version of your strategy, the non-crop rotation version, where you put in Cornucopia scarabs, you're going to get a lot of all 3 of the life forces. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And there, boom, we get another Sacred Blossom. Beautiful. You love to see it. Sacred Blossom, 700 life force. Here's the wild life force that we're getting 100 of right here. It's on the ground. Let's see how much these 2 drop. So that's 160 plus, so for 260 total. And then how's this? This guy's going to drop probably like another 700, maybe another 800. Let's see. In this clip, I still have the trigger set up. 900, almost 1,000. Nice. Perfecto. And then we're on and done with our merry way. I do feel like giving you guys some kind of representation or idealized version of this farm after my testing, what I would prefer. So I'm going to show you guys what I would do after the farm, knowing what I know now, how I would farm harvest. So truthfully, it doesn't really matter the map, as long as you pick an area that you can rush to the Sacred Grove, which does have a random spawn, so preferably an open layout, but truthfully it doesn't matter too much the map. And the scarabs, truthfully it doesn't matter too much the scarabs. If you are not guaranteeing harvest, run guaranteed harvest. And if you are doing anything to do with harvest, you should always run a harvest scarab of doubling. So we do have at least one guaranteed scarab right here, but other than this, you can run whatever you want. Because I'm running Crimson Temple, I'm going to run divination scarabs and a cartography scarab, and my plan is to actually clear a bit of the map. So I'm going to show you again what I would do if I'm farming this farm again. If I were to go back and do all of this all over again, and I was like, yo, I want to optimize for profit, how would I farm these maps? First thing I'm going to do whenever I get into any map is I'm going to rush straight to the boss. I'm not even going to think twice about stopping. I'm not even considering things like the harvest, to be completely honest with you. If I find the harvest on my way to the boss, I'm going to make a mental note of where it is, and then I'm going to come back for it. So we kill the boss, then we leave. Then, as we are pathing out to wherever we want to go, because of course Crimson Temple does have a bit of a, you know, you can go right, you can go left. Theoretically, the harvest could be anywhere. We found it right there. But as I'm pathing anywhere, I want to kill things so that I can find these bad boys right here. I want to look at them for no more than a split second just to see if I see quantity or rarity. In this case, I do not. You could just not even click it if you don't see quant and rarity. In this case, I do click it, and we look around for a split second. And unfortunately, we did not get any of our yellow juice vivid things. So this is a very unfortunate circumstance because of course we are blocking, right? For reduced chance to grow blue plants, reduced chance to grow purple plants, we, you know, grew nothing but blue and purple. So that's perfect. I will still farm this just for, you know, representation purposes, because really I'm not doing, this is not a crop rotation demonstration, and like I said, I wouldn't even recommend crop rotation if I were you. If I was a new player and I was farming harvest for profit, I would do exactly what I'm doing here. And even though I'm not farming yellow in this map, the philosophy remains the same. Harvest is a really simple mechanic when you're not doing crop rotation. Even if you are doing crop rotation, it's still pretty simple compared to a lot of other mechanics. And so in this case, you know, I'm kind of just turning off my brain and going with the, well, preferably primal life force, but the I'm going with the one that makes the most sense with respect to the monster tiers. So in this case, I do see tier 4 over here. I'm going to click that because I always want to prefer I always want to opt into the Sacred Blossom Gamble. So here we are. And of course, because he's blue, he's not going to give me a bunch of difficulties. He's going to immediately transform, or I guess you could say go into his little Jehovah's Witness, Jesus Christ stance. So thank you very much. And no Sacred Blossom, but still 800 life force. I'll take that. You know, it's easy to forget, but that's still 28 chaos that I just picked up. So here it doesn't really matter. The fact is we're getting at least a tier 3 from either, and the other one remained thanks to Heart of the Grove. And so we're gonna get all these little ones because they're duped. And so these guys are going to probably give me 100 to 200, and that's just great. Maybe they'll dupe. There's 152. There's 142. Go over here, open you. I don't think there was one over there. I'm kind of checking. It doesn't really matter to check. They do show up, I believe, on your mini-map, so I would see it. And there we go. There's another 400, and we can leave. In this case, I'd probably leave the map. I don't think I would continue to clear the map, but I'm going, Yeah, you know, if I would leave the map, then I should leave the map. So I'm going to leave the map to show you what I would do, because this is actually what I would do. I would just leave the map here. And that's how I would do a map. Yeah, prioritizing killing the map boss, clicking altars that increase quant and rarity, and doing the harvest and clicking yellow seeds / plots. That's basically it. There's nothing more complicated than that. You'll rack up a lot of experience doing this as well if you opt into doing shrines or any experience focused strat on the Atlas. The reason being, there's a lot of harvest mobs that spawn, and we are obviously maximizing for pack size, and bountiful harvest increases the experience granted by harvest monsters by a ludicrous amount. 200% is an insane amount. So if you're doing something like shrines with this, I know that there's a strat with shrines that spawns a crap ton of shrines and then takes the, if I can find it, I'm sure I have some of these. In fact, I know I do. I think they're called teaching. Yeah. The domination scarab of teachings. These things grant 30% experience per shrine buff. And then, of course, this could be scaled by things like shrine buff effect. So you take a bunch of shrines, you walk into a harvest, you farm the harvest, because you have all these shrine effects, you probably don't die for a change. If your build is kind of on the weaker side, you know what I'm talking about. Harvest can be pretty rippy, especially like blue and yellow mobs. In harvest, they can just tear your character apart. Honestly, purple too. I don't even know why I'd specify the color, because all harvest mobs are scary. But then in addition to that, you get, so in addition to not dying, in addition to maybe being a little bit more tanky, I don't want to say invulnerable, but in addition to hopefully not dying in the harvest mobs because you have shrine buffs, you're also granting getting a bunch of experience. So it's a nice little cascading effect there to buff your character and get more XP at the same time. So good on you for that. That's how I'd run a map. That's how I did run a map. And now you know how to run a map. I love all of you very much. I have a new pop filter coming in the mail. It should be here tomorrow. So hopefully the S's, the sharp S's, are completely eliminated and I can turn this into an ASMR channel. I love all of you. Take care.